Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to do DC Universe Last Will and Testament made by David Meltzer, Adam Kubert, John Kubert, and John Dell. This is a one-shot. This is a story that was made during the Final Crisis event. And also you have to have a little bit of knowledge about the crisis. I mean, there was multiple crises in the DC universe to get a little bit, understanding about what's going on. Also, what happened in the past, because this is a story mostly between Geo-Force and Slade Wilson, Deathstroke, the Terminator, and. By the way, this, speaking of, not speaking of, this is a cover that I thought, okay, I see a lightning, I see different faces. What I didn't know, there was another issue number 1 cover, and that connects below here when the lightning bolt strikes further, and then we see Geo-Force having some kind of a hands making out of the ground or something like that. I didn't even know that. Now, first of all, I'm going to talk about the story and say what I like or dislike, and then I give you my thoughts on this. So let's dive in. Quality paper, really, really good. So it seems that Geo-Force had somehow inherited the powers of Terra, his sister that died years ago. And so if you want to know about Terra and her death, just read, if you can, Teen Titans Judas contract. Fantastic story. Basically, Tara Markov, that's her name, was killed. Well, basically, was it killed, suicide, something like that? I'm not entirely sure how it all went, but she went completely bonkers, used all of her power, and basically, if I remember it correctly, buried herself in earth and dirt, therefore killed, I guess. Anyway, so he says, my name is Brian Markov. I am the Prince of Markovia, I'm sorry. In my native tongue, my hero name translates as Superman, but I let the Americans call me Geo-Force. So he says that, that fire cannot hurt him, that he is, can he make his skin hard as stone or something? And he says, my powers at their height. I'm ready to get the man who killed my sister. I'm ready to fight Deathstroke now. And he speaks with Jefferson Pierce, and Jefferson Pierce is, maybe as you know, Black Lightning. And it seems that in the Final Crisis event, the sun hasn't come up in the last 2 days. There was no electricity. So it says here, last time we destroyed something we called an interdimensional tower. I believe that was the first crisis against the... Why am I forgetting? the anti-monitor. Yeah. The time before we attacked an antimatter cannon. This time there's nothing to punch. There are no shadow demons. I believe they were referring mostly to the first crisis. And great detail on the environment. Everything is dead. There's no electricity. So he speaks about, with Jefferson, and basically he says that he wants to kill Deathstroke, right? And so Deathstroke says, hey, listen, you need to go back to your family. This is not healthy. This is not working at all. Jeff regrets the words the moment they leave his throat. He knows my father's dead. He knows my brother's dead. And he knows what Deathstroke did to my sister. Under Slade's manipulation, she infiltrated the Titans, learned everything about them, and nearly killed them all into what he turned Terra into. And what he's been trying to do to me. Brian, listen to me. Let's go find my daughters, please. I need to see them. I'll make dinner. Lynn's coming too. Stay with us here. Your family. You have us. Just take your mask off. I'm not taking my mask off, he says. Love the lighting effects. Beautiful shot. Is that how you say, is this a bird's eye view? Is that how you say it? I don't know. It's just really, really good. He says, in the league, you promised me we hunt Slade down. Bruce said we hunt him down. The Outsiders said the same. But at Dinah's and Oliver's wedding, every thought it will be such a brilliant trap. But Slade is still free, paying nothing for his crimes. So what do you want, Brian? My permission to go grab the guy? I am the royal prince, Jeff. I heard your royalty speech 50,000 times. You see me talking about being Secretary of Education? Jefferson, I didn't come for your permission. I came to see if you wanted a piece of what left of him. Slade did frame your murder. Don't you see? If this is truly Judgment Day, still doing this, by the way. Isn't this time for evil to be punished? And then we also switch to different heroes like Diana and Donna here. Before maybe you don't know that, but there's also a comic called Batman and the Outsiders. Geo-Force was in it, and Black Lightning was also in it. They are basically friends, right? So Jefferson said, "I get it," and he said, "It'll work. It won't kill you. You're wrong." Then you haven't been paying attention, Brian. Slade doesn't fight like Baron Bedlam. Hell, he doesn't even fight like Bruce. So Brian says that he actually says, "Hey, don't you think I know this? I know what he's capable of and what he needs to do to win. He knows it. I figured it out, Jeff. That's his secret. He doesn't just try to hit us. He figures out how to hurt us." And then he says, "Now I know where his weakness lies, and is his family, right?" So Jefferson says, "And what is your big master plan?" Everybody knows who Jericho knows Jericho as his son. Where is the victory in that? So Jericho is a superhero that cannot talk because his throat was slit, and he became a member of the Teen Titans. So yeah, and that aggravated, of course, Terminator, Deathstroke, because, well, it's his son, right? So Jericho wants to be a hero instead of a madman like Slade. Anyway, you clearly haven't heard the full story, have you? Out of the courtesy, Nightwing left it out of the files. When Jericho lost his voice, that was the night Deathstroke actually missed. This is how we beat him. Here is how we pay him back. I know I'm right. Forget the missing eye. Here's Slade's true blind spot. His kid. All we do have to aim for the heart. So Jefferson says, "Hey, are you trying to beat him or kill him? You don't. He stole my family, and now with my powers, he's doing it again. The pain Slade causing me. That's why I came to see you, Jeff. Please help me do what's right." So yeah, he's clearly, filled with grief. More other side stuff, about the end of the world. I mean, and we see also Batman and Robin, and I believe his son. Damn, is it Tim? Or is it Tim? Is it his son, or is this? No. This is probably not his son. This is, I believe, the other Robin, Tim, I guess. Anyway, Bruce Wayne. Yeah, Tim Drake. Okay, that's this year. I totally forgot. This is my favorite part. It's not the costume or the car or the wonderful toys. It isn't winning the fight or leaving the signed note for the cops. The best part is this part, when we step up on the parapet and look 4 stories down, and with a single fearless leap, and the wind fights and tries to lift our mask, we finally get to fly. So Bruce says to Tim, "I assume you were with your parents. It's the end, Bruce, the real end. I'm exactly where I wanted to be." Barely cracks a smile. And we have Nightwing here too. So, and then they do this, classic pose, classic swinging from the building. Looks really cool. Yeah, nice. Anyway, so then we go to somewhere else. Challenges Mountain, Grace Choi, skeptic. Now, Grace Choi was a member of the Outsiders, the new Outsiders. I got a couple of, well, I can show you a little bit. Just give me a sec. Accidentally, I was reading it, right? So, this is, I got a trade paperback of The Outsider, so this is Grace Choi's. Choi, you know, she's Asian, she's a powerhouse, cool character, right? And do I have some art in here? Well, I got this, which is beautiful art, by the way. Anyway, doesn't matter, but yeah, Grace Choi, great character. I do not know much about her. That's why I'm reading this comic, you know, to find out about her, right? And so it seems here she has some kind of a confession. It's not really relevant to the story. And what I didn't know is that this guy is called Rocky Davis, and he was part of the Challengers of the Unknown. Now, again, I know all of these characters by name and by face. I do not know their background. So I didn't even know he was a religious guy and take, you know, confessions. And but we got to skip all this because, again, it's not really relevant to this story that I wanted to show you. But then Brian comes in. Am I still a hero if I want to kill a man? He says. And we also see Leonard Snart, you know, Captain Cold. And he's now actually, you know, tried to stop a robbery with an angle weapon from Angle Man. And maybe because it's the end, maybe he feels nostalgic to do some good, you know, from your friendly motherfucking Captain Cold. Really good. So I love the demeanor and body language of Geo-Force. You know, he's all down and depressed. He says, if you could stop yourself, you wouldn't be here. I tell myself that. But when I think of what he did to my sister, to let him go unpunished, all the death he caused, it's almost like there's someone else inside me. So then he uses accidentally his power that shakes up the whole, not only the building, but probably the area, because, yeah, he has now her powers. His powers is he can control Earth, but also control the flow of the lava that goes underneath the Earth, right? He's a pretty powerful guy, Geo-Force. But now he has the power of Tara Markov, who can control Earth in a different way as well. He says, like stranger living just beneath my skin. So yeah, he has really, really had a hard time, right? And so we see, what's his name? Cox? Just give me a sec, I'm sorry. Rocky. Rocky says, hey, tell me about him. Tell me about the man you want to kill. Now, of course, he's a soldier, born a soldier, but also bred as one. And on one night, to protect his reputation, he even puts his own son at risk. So, and then we see a small flashback how a mad scientist granted Geo-Forces his powers, etc. And, you know, about Terra going crazy, you know. And look at this fucking awesome shot. I love when artists are doing this. We don't see this much in comics anymore, right? So this feels so claustrophobic. You know, seeing that from this angle, it's really good. And Brian, I need you to listen to me. What you're complaining is murder. He said, what you complaining, all this planning, heroes don't murder. And then he says, well, I'm not sure if I don't, if he's a hero anymore. Then we go to another fantastic shot. Look at this angle, this composition here, Deathstroke standing here, and all these small details that I praise so much when I see stuff like this. You know, modern comics, they need to learn from this. They need to do better, right? All these lighting effects, texture, depth, this particular camera here, you know, background, stars, so good. It's Geo-Force, he says. So it seems that Deathstroke is speaking to someone. I think he's smart hiding cameras 3 blocks away, but he's cheap and he's stupid. He has to know there is no electricity. I mean, not everybody's clever enough to pay grots for personal telepathic links. He wants me to know it's him. That's why he sent you the address. Now get out of my head, calculator. Before I go see my daughter, I gotta deal with him first. So Brian says, I need to go. Brian, it's the end of the world. It's normal to have a conversion. But don't let him take you to the other side. But, he's too far gone. Ads. Great show, by the way. I like it. It was not the best, but, it's the best Terminator show we have, and probably the only. Anyway, so Terminator has here stones that's is shaking. What's with resolution? And he says it's coming, right? And I know you're out here, Brian. Before you do anything, we should. But Brian attacks immediately. So Terminator, super fast as he is, shoots some kind of a dart towards him. Oh, damn. Slade is faster than ever. You missed, says Geo-Force. You sure? And then we see here that he is, being hit by these ampoules of whatever it is. So what do you put in me? So he says, hey, I know how you get your powers, but it seems that a lot of mad scientists that worked for Slade in the past went to Markovia. So they experiment on Brian, and somehow they, used his cells to make some kind of not some kind of an antidote, but something that cancels his powers for the moment, right? And we see that he is really struggling to get his foot on this floating rock. And to pick a rooftop for the meet? How stupid can you be? At least pick something placed with rocks. Yeah, Slade he's smart, man. He's real smart. Anyway, we have also some Clark and Pa Kent talk that we're going to skip. And so Brian falls, right? The fall is over 20 stories. My powers are long gone. I'm not super or amazing or uncanny. I'm just a man. Man versus monster. Naturally, Slade doesn't let up. He thinks I'm lucky that the dumpster here there to break my fall. He forgets that I picked this building and the address. I mean, look at this, how far they are falling, they make it so small. And this is a long way to fall, man. But, he survives. He says he forgets I picked this building and this address and the abandoned alley that runs behind it. Is this? So flashback. So he falls, right? And, Slade just falls like nothing's happening. Look at his face, man. It looks so good, right? He's bloody, he's beaten up. Well, almost. He's dirty. So he talks about the past, how his forefathers defended Markovia against Nazis and Russians, and they have to prepare because it's a small country, and they beat their enemies because they prepare, just like Batman prepares, just like Terminator prepares, right? We are a small country, but even then, the lessons were clear. We survive because we prepare. You know this place, don't you? This is where they slit your son's throat. The one place you actually lost. Again, and then look at this. This looks so good. But Slade says, hey, do you think this is the first time that someone uses my son against me? Are you that stupid? So whether he's bluffing or not, I got him mad. I know how to win. All I need to is to get close. Look at this, man. He is so speedy. It looks so good. So he's pinned down to this dumpster. And so Slade said, that's it. That's the whole fight. You're wrong. You missed the kill shot. So Slade says, kill? Why would I kill my best investment? Do you not understand our history? You know different from her. Talking about Tara. He said, what are you talking about? Come on, Brian. Once you got her powers, all the recent burst of anger, the sudden mood swings, it only gets worse. I'll kill you. Murder, you already complaining murder? Then we are well ahead of schedule. It's still haunting you, isn't it? So yeah, so I believe that Deathstroke thinks that the madness that was inside Terra is now also in Brian, because he was already mad. Yes, Deathstroke had a big hand of her manipulating, grooming, and all that stuff, and to kill the Titans, the Teen Titans. But he also said that Terra was already extremely unstable, and it was meant to happen anyway. So yeah, that was a big reveal back then. Now, before we get into this, I talk about backgrounds a lot, right? And about that, how modern comics is unable or too lazy, in my opinion. I know it sounds harsh, but that's how I think about it. That they lack to do detailed backgrounds. Now look at this. This is the whole area, and if you pull out of these panels here, we see details. Now you can say, hey Marinus, if people fighting in the desert, there's no detail. If people fighting on sea, there's no detail. If people fighting in a sewer, you cannot put in detail. This is an alley. Now look what's are in here, right? We have pipes. We have lighting effects. We have a door that leads to a garage. We have a dumpster. We have rats, a broken car, transformator, I'm not entirely sure, rosters, garbage, fluids, concrete, you name it, it's in here, right? There's a lot of detail. And we only see this shot in this whole double spread page that's now been laced, over with panels. It's awesome. You can do this. I think, again, I need to rant a little bit here. I think, in my opinion, we need to have higher standards when it comes to modern comics. Modern artists and colorists needs to do better. We have this in the past. We need to have this now. It's amazing that people accept, comics like the new Moon Knight with a lot of black, a lot of Photoshop effects, and they say it's a good comic. Maybe it's a written good comic. I don't know. I don't read that series. But, if it comes to visual standpoints, I hear, wow, the art is so good. No, it's not. This is good art. This is fantastic art, because I get immersed in this particular scene here because all of this what's surrounding it. Okay, I'm stop ranting now. Anyway, but you know what I mean. You're seeing it now, aren't you? Forget the tides. We do this right. We can take the outsiders, the League. By the way, without your powers, you have no chance of pulling that sword out. The problem with Tarot was that we waited too long. But then the psychosis was so bad, she tried to kill us all. You're lying. My sister sacrificed to save others. So Slater's standing there very casually. He says, you can't control someone. You're saying that to trick me. It took a few years, but now we got the formula worked out. And he says, I am Brian Markov. There's nothing that will change that, right? And he says, then we just have to aim you at the right target. So basically he wants to, manipulate, brainwash him and, send him to heroes and kill them, I presume. God, you're just so like her. So much to prove, but so damn weak. I can help you be strong. I am Prince Brian Markov. There's nothing that will change that. Actually, you're no different from the dead blue beetle or elongated man or your horse sister. You're a C-lister. In this day and age, in all this darkness, you don't have a chance. I am Prince Baron Markov. This goes nuts, man. So he pulls out his swords, and nothing will change that. And he swings at it, he misses, and Deathstroke just stands there and spits on his head. He's such a Chad. I love it. Great fight, he says. By the way, your name doesn't translate as Superman. Your staff told you that to pat your ego. Don't worry, though. I'll help you change that. So, and then reality sinks in, and he says, yeah, he's right. I am a C-lister. And he says, he's right about me with the evil inside, whether he put it there or not, and what it'll ultimately do to my friends. But that doesn't mean he gets to write my fate. So we said there's some kind of a flashback again about that he, about what happened, in the past, and that, he's become a prince. And we see Terra. He says, so much suffering and pain, but now I realize it's just cowardice. This generals kept me telling, the power is not in the crown, the power is in you. Now look at his eyes, and he gets the blade. And he slits his throat. Oh my God. I couldn't beat him, he says. And Slade says, no. And then we see this same shot, what happened in the past with Slade and his son. Even as I enter my throat, I don't feel the sword. This is my victory. You know how much I invested? You don't get to take that from me. This is mine, not yours. So he sees Tara in her crazy form, you know, and he says, What do you say to me? I still have your sword. Now, guys, this is so great. This particular scene, this splash page, there's no words, there's no sound effects, just a simple pan out wide shot from the top down that, for me, it evokes some kind of emotion that in my head I said, oh my God, wow. This is so powerful. This is so powerful. These creators know how to evoke that kind of emotion. And then, you know, with all these great details about, you know, the top shot, the panning out of the camera, no words, no sound, just this particular visual, powerful scene. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Wow. Yeah. So, is it over? No, of course not. So Jefferson, you know, found him, and he said, I have to admit, Brian, I didn't think you had it in you. He's still breathing, but you beat him. You beat Deathstroke. So it seems that he just, he survived. But you never lost sight, did you, Brian? The bastard stabbed your legs, slices your throat, and you never gave up once. Well, it's not true because he did it to himself, but you don't know that. Look at his face. So he says, murder, please. You just beat Deathstroke, baby. So yeah, Jefferson is all happy, but, you know, it's so dramatic. Last thing we see is something, you know, with, you know, the end. We see Wally, Barbara and Jim Gordon, Wildcat, Liberty Bell and Our Man getting it on, and, you know, Flash and Green Lantern. And that leads us to the next part of the Final Crisis, right? So, was this final conclusion? Was this comic necessary? No, not really. Is it necessary to read this comic to understand the whole? No, not really. The reason that I reviewed is because I always wanted to have some kind of a conclusion between what happened to Deathstroke and Geo-Force, because it never had a conclusion at all, right? Because he killed, or he's responsible for somewhat killing or in the demise of Tara Markov, Tara. And I always wanted to have that revenge action scene between these two. And I got it. But I never thought in my whole damn time that I waited for this moment that we see something like this, that we feel something like this. I thought, you know, maybe Geo-Force just gonna beat down on Terminator and that's it, and we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on, but I wanted to show you guys how it all ended. So this whole scene is now done. And Brian, did you win? Did you really win? I'm not so sure, man. Be well, my friend. Guys, thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.